Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Bhutavata Kamalam Sri Purim Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sahagana Bhagavatam Yutam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Visuddham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopi Shagavidadanta Radha Kantanastate Tatta Ganjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vijmanu Sade Devi Pranamani Hari Priya Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu evacha Paditanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivajadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Nama Eva Kevalam Kola Nasteva Gattiranyata. So reading from Bhagavad Thakur's Jaiva Dharma, 13th chapter. Pramana, the commencement of Prameya. So, Brajanath is asking from Babaji Maharaj in regards to Dashamula Tattva. So he's asking about the second verse. So Babaji is saying, reciting the verse, Haristrekam tattvam vidishiva suresha pranamita yadevedam brahma prakriti haridam tattvano maha paratman tasyam so jagat anugato vishwajanakaha savai radha kanto navajalada kantischit udaya. Indeed, Sri Hari, to whom Brahma, Shiva, and Indra and all the devatas continuously offer pranam, is the only supreme absolute truth. Nirvishesh Brahma, that is devoid of Shaktis, Sri Hari's bodily effulgence. Mahavishnu, who has created the universe and was entering into it as the indwelling super soul of all, is simply his partial manifestation. It is that Sri Hari alone, the very form of transcendental reality, Chit Swarup, whose complexion is the color of a freshly formed thundercloud, who is Sri Radha Vallabh, the beloved of Sri Radha. Savai Radha Kanto Navajalada Kantischit Uddaya. So, Rajanath is asking, the Upanishads describe Brahma, which is transcendental to affiliation with matter, to be the supreme truth. So what argument or evidence has Sri Gaurahari used to establish Brahma as Sri Hari's bodily effulgence? Babaji, Sri Hari is certainly Bhagavan, whose true nature has been ascertained in the very Vishnu Purana. Aishwaryasya samagrasya veryasya shasasa shriya Jnana vairagyayas chaiva sannambhaga itingana. So Bhagavan is the supreme absolute truth, endowed with 6 inconceivable qualities: complete opulence, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. So this is famous verse from Vishnu Purana. Now there is a mutual relationship amongst these qualities of body, Angi, and limbs, Anga. The question may arise, which of these qualities is Angi and which are Angas? The Angi body is that within the Angas limbs are included. For example, a tree is Angi and the leaves and branches are the Angas. The body is Angi and the feet and hands are its Angas. Therefore, the principal quality, Angi Gun, represents the body, and to that quality, all the other qualities, Anga Gun, are arranged as its limbs. The Angi Gun of Bhagavan's transcendental form is his resplendent beauty, Sri, and the 3 qualities of opulence, Aishwarya, strength, virya, and fame, Yasha, are his Angas. The remaining 2 qualities, knowledge, Jnana, and renunciation, Vairagya, are the effulgence of the quality of fame. Because Jnana and Vairagya are only attributes of a quality and not original qualities in their own right. Thus, Jnana and Vairagya are actually Nirvikar Jnana, which is the intrinsic constitutional form of the Adivashesh Brahma. And that Brahma is the bodily effulgence of the spirit world. The changeless, inactive Nirvishesh Brahma, which exists without body, limbs, and so on, is not in itself a complete tattva. Rather, it depends on the transcendental form of Bhagavan. Brahma is therefore not a supreme Vastu entity that exists in his own right. It is a quality of the Vastu. Bhagavan is indeed that Vastu, and Brahma is his quality. Just as the light of fire is not a complete and independent tattva, but only a quality that depends on the fire. Prajanadi, personal Vishesh qualities of Brahma are described in many places in the Vedas. And at the end of these descriptions, the mantra Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti is always described to is always used to describe the supreme truth, Sri Hari, who is this Sri Hari. So, at the recitation of the mantras, as mentioned here, and the various mantras, at the end, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti is pronounced. So, let there be peace, and of course, addressing Sri Hari, the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. Babaji, that Sri Hari is in fact Chit Lila Mithun, the combined form of Radha and Krishna, who perform divine pastimes. Prajnath, I will inquire into this subject later. Now kindly tell me, how is Paramatma the creator of the universe, a partial manifestation of Bhagavan? Babaji, pervading everything by his qualities of Aishwarya and Virya, and creating all the universes, Bhagavan enters every universe by his Amsha, partial manifestation, Vishnu. Every Amsha of Bhagavan always remains complete. None of them are ever incomplete. Om Purnamada Purnamidat Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasubhramadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. So that is from Sisha Upanishad and Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. The Avatari Purush, the origin of all avatars, is complete and perfect. Because he is completely perfect, all avatars emanating from him are also complete. All that emanates from the Supreme Complete is complete. Even if the complete is abstracted from the complete, he still remains complete. In no way does that Parameshwara experience any diminution. Therefore, the complete whole Sri Vishnu who enters the universe and controls it is certainly the indwelling super soul Paramatma. That Vishnu has three forms: Karadaksha Vishnu, Shiradaksha Vishnu, and Garbhadaksha Vishnu. Karadaksha Vishnu is a partial manifestation of Sri Bhagavan, situates himself on the causal ocean or the Viraja river, which extends between the Chit and Mayik world. From there he glances over Maya, who is situated far away. And by this glance, the material world is created. Bhagavan Sri Krishna has described the creation of the material world in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Maya Dhyakshara Prakriti Swayate Sat Characharam. Under my superintendence, my Allurja energy creates a universe full of moving and non-moving beings. Then it is said, Sa Akshata, that Paramatma glanced. Saimallokamasrishat, that Paramatma created the universe of moving and non-moving entities after glancing over his Maya. Karadaksha Vishnu's powerful of glancing, which enters Maya, becomes Karadaksha Vishnu. And the localized atoms in the rays of the transcendental glance of the Mahavishnu are the conditioned souls. And in the heart of every Jiva, Ishvara is situated as a thumb-sized expansion of Kshiradaksha Vishnu, also known as Hiranya Garbha. So here is mentioned that Paramatma is situated in the heart, the size of a thumb, Paramatma. Sometimes it is explained Dash Angulam, this big. So
what is big, sir?
what?
Is it again, please? What about the
Paramatma. Sometimes the size of Paramatma is explained as the size of the tongue. Here. Sometimes Das Angulam, as in Purusha Sukta. Sasrashya Sapurjaha Sasaksha Sasapatsarumi Vishwadavritva Attatishta Das Angulam Paramatma. So, of course, it depends. So sometimes a little big or small. If he's there in the end body, he must be small. And for body a little bigger. In a dwarf body, maybe small too. So, in a bigger body, like, sometimes you can see some persons 2 meter 10, 220, so they might be a little bigger. So
they must be according to their thumb and their bend fingers, right? If the bigger or smaller, it has to be according to their own fingers, right?
who's?
Whoever big or small, the Paramatma.
Yeah. Well, basically you understand that Vishnu is there in the heart of Source. So, and of course the Lord is unlimited, but at the same time he is manifested in a certain form. Like Krishna is also unlimited, but he's there as a gop, and he's playing with other gops. So, and yes, and so then he performs his wonderful pastimes in this world. But when the material world is manifested, as mentioned here, so then the Lord is also descending. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Nadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. So Krishna is Parameshwara, the greatest controller. So Etecham Sakala Pumsam Krishna Stu Bhagavan Sam Indriya Vyakalam Lokam Ridyante Yugi Yugi. So Krishna is saying Bhagavan, and then many expansions are there of his personality. And then the expansions of the expansions. So the first expansion is Bhagavan. And so then, and the Lord of Vishnu Bhutis are there. So, but the Lord's will, this material world is manifested. So, the unmanifested state is known as Prada. By the Lord of the will, by the Lord's will, by the will of the Lord, so it is manifested. So the Pradhan becomes Prakriti or Mahatattva. And then expansion of Mahavishnu then, or the expansion of Mahashankarshan then is Mahavishnu, and his expanded form is Garvadaksha Vishnu. And then Kshirodaksha Vishnu Paramatma is also manifest, who is there in everyone's heart. So, therefore is known as all-pervading also, Vishnu. The name Vishnu indicates all-pervasive. So, then, as explained here, the jivas are, of course, the jivas are also eternal. and is explained in the first verse. Two kinds of jivas. Bivinangsha tattva, and then so Vivinangsha jiv, and then the Nityamukta jiv, ever liberated. So the eternal associates of the Lord. So when the material world is manifested, some of the Nityabhada, they come in this world. So it is mentioned through Mahavishnu. So
You get it through Mahavishnu, Nityabhada.
Nityabhada.
Nityabhada is coming.
Yeah. So of course, the highest planet is Golok Vrindavan, and so Krishna's effulgence is there. That is the Brahma Jyoti. Of course, then also all the other Vishnu Murtis are there, and their effulgence is also part of Brahma Jyoti, the spiritual sky. And then there are unlimited Nityabhadas there, who are also eternal sons of Krishna, but they are not serving Krishna. But when the material world is manifested, so some of the jivas, so they come in this world. But then they will be conditioned by the modes of material nature. But coming in contact with the Lord or the pure devotee, then they can awaken their transcendental nature and advance in spiritual life. So the localized atoms in the rays of the transcendental glance of Mahavishnu are the conditioned souls. So, and we know that is also mentioned that the Swarup is already there of the Jivas, but it is in seed-like form. Or, seed-like form, or so you may say, it is dormant, it is not manifest. But then by engaging in devotional service and undergoing the purification process, then one's real transcendental nature so may be revealed in due course of time. So those were manifestations of Krishna. So even as Nityabhada, then because it is already there, in the Jiva, his Swarup is there already. But by practicing, by chanting the names, engaging in service, so the form will be manifest. So some will go to Golok, some will go to Vaikuntha Lok, some will go to Ayodhya, some will go to Dwarka. So that is already there, arranged by the Lord ultimately. It's not that we can choose, but our attraction will be according to our Swarup. So, Shvetasvatara Upanishad states, Dva Suparna Sayujja Sakhaya. The Jiva and Paramatma are in the heart of the Jiva, like two birds on the branch of a tree. One of these birds is Ishwar, who was a result of fruitive activity. And the other bird is the Jiva, who is tasting the fruit. He's tasting the fruits of his actions. See, Bhagavan has expressed this tattva as follows in the Gita Upanishad. Yad yad viputimat sattvam shimadorjadam evava tat evava gacchatam mama tejam sasambhavam kim gyattena tavarjuna vistabhyaham idam krishnam ekam sena stito jagat. You should understand that all opulence, existence, splendor and potency have come from a tiny part of my opulence. Therefore, Arjuna, what is the necessity of understanding all of my attributes separately? Therefore, Arjuna, what is the necessity of understanding all of my attributes separately? Simply understand that by an expansion of myself, I have created this entire creation, and I thereby pervade it fully. So, we hear or we read the scriptures, and then we can have some understanding. We chant the holy names, we engage in devotional service, then we can understand more, we can understand better about the Lord, about both the spiritual world and the material world, about ourselves. Therefore, the attributes of God, such as being the creator and maintainer of the universe, are manifested in Paramatma, the partial manifestation, Amsa Swarup of Param Purush Bhagavan. So, of course, Krishna is the source of everything. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigrana Adhe Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. Aham sarvasya pavavo mata savam pavatate iti matva bhagante mam buddha bhava samanditaha. You know these verses? No? Good Lord. Bhagavad Gita 10, 8, 10, 9, 10, 10, 10, 11. Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita.
Yes.
You know? A little bit something.
We are not, no, we learned.
Okay, but you forgot. Ham sarvasya parva matavatsa matasya pavati titi matva bhajanti mam buddha bhava samanditaha. So everything emanates from me. So then it's the spiritual world, the material world, the incarnations of the Lord. So, and then the devotees of the Lord, by the Lord's mercy, they can also understand the position of Krishna, the Supreme Lord. So then those who are actually intelligent, they will surrender to Krishna. And then they will engage in devotional service. And then we get more realizations. So in human form of life, we have the opportunity to advance in spiritual life, to realize ourselves. So in the beginning, we know we are not this body, we are spirit soul. That is the beginning. But then by engaging in devotional service, chanting the holy names, then we can realize our transcendental identity. So completely. In the beginning we know we are spirit soul, but by fully engaging devotional service, then the practical Atma Sakshatkar, direct experience of the self. So in Braj, so having a loving relationship with Krishna as servant or as friend or in parental affection or conjugal relationship. Machitavatkata prana bodhiyantas dushanti cha ramanti cha. So the devotees, they like to discuss about my activities. And then Desham Satatu Yuktamam Bhajatam Pratipurvakam Tadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mangu Pravanti Upayantite. So those who are always engaging in devotional service. So those who are connected with me, Bhajatam, Pratipurvakam, with some loving sentiment. So the loving sentiment is there, but it is not fully manifest because of both material nature and the beginning stage. So the loving propensity is there already, but it is perverted towards material things. But then, by the mercy of Hari Guru Vaishnava, so then we may be able to understand our position and engage in spiritual activities. And then Krishna is guiding Tesham Satari Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Tadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mamu Priyantite. So that we can advance more and more. So it is there as Krishna as the super soul, or then ultimately Krishna will also manifest. So the devotees, they are praying to the Lord and they are praying to the deity, or they are praying to Krishna in the heart, because of Krishna in Golok. So they know that Krishna in the heart, Krishna in the deity form, Krishna in the holy names, and Krishna in Golok, they are not different. So, but in the beginning stage, so the sadhaka, then he needs actually guidance from advanced devotees. So by hearing about the process, by hearing about Krishna, and then by asking questions, then one can be guided, one will be guided. engage in devotional service. So Krishna is there in the heart, Krishna himself or Paramatma. And the Spirit Master is there, Diksha Shiksha Guru, externally manifest. Because in the beginning stage one cannot always hear the Supreme Lord. So one cannot perceive him. So we need help from outside. But still the need from inside also, help will be there from his surrendering. So then, with the torchlight of knowledge, then the ignorance is destroyed in the heart. Anukampa by the mercy of the Lord. So, Krishna is very merciful and is always trying to help his devotees. So, but then Vishnu, also the Paramatma, is there to guide the conditioned souls who are not yet aware of their spiritual position, who are engaged in material activities. But the Lord is trying to help them from within the heart. And then eventually He will arrange for a meeting with, or for the opportunity to be in the association of a great soul, that he can advance. Therefore, the attributes of God, such as being the creator and maintainer of the universe, are manifested in Paramatma, the personal manifestation of Parampurush Bhagavan. Brajanath, I understand that Brahma is Hari's bodily effulgence and that Paramatma is his part. However, what evidence is there that Bhagavan Sri Hari is Krishna himself? Babaji, see, Krishna, Bhagavan is eternally manifest in two features. One is of Aishwarya, opulence and majesty, and the other of Madhurya, sweetness. The feature of Aishwarya is Narayan, who is the master of the spiritual sky, Vaikuntha, and the origin of Mahavishnu. See, Krishna is the complete embodiment of the Madhurya feature. This see, Krishna is the utmost limit of complete sweetness. Indeed, his sweetness is so great that its rays completely cover his Aishwarya. So two features of the Supreme Lord. Aishwarya means so majesty, and the other is Madhurya. So in Braj, so the Madhurya is prominent, but Aishwarya is there also, and the Aishwarya in Braj is even greater than the Aishwarya of the spiritual realm of Vaikuntha. From the perspective of Siddhanta or Tattva, there is no difference between Narayana and Krishna. However, when we consider the degree of rasa to be tasted in the spiritual world, Krishna is not only the foundation of rasa, of all rasas, but he himself, being the very form of rasa, is also Param Upadeya Tattva, the supremely pleasing being. Akila Rasamrita Murti. So that is there in the first verse of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So all rasas are there in Krishna. So, and then the different associates are there. And the exchange is there with Krishna. We find evidence in the Vedas, Upanishads and Puranas that Sri Krishna is Swam Bhagavan. Sri Hari, for example, the Rig Veda states, Apasham Gopam Anipadyamanama Chapara Cha Chatpatibis Charantam Sa Sadprihiji Sadarichi Sa Vishnuchir Vasana Avarivarti Bhuvanesh Rantaha. So I saw a boy who appeared in the dynasty of cowherds. He's infallible and is never annihilated. He wanders on various paths, sometimes near and sometimes very far. Sometimes he is beautifully adorned with varieties of garments, and sometimes he wears clothes of only one color. So mostly Krishna is known to wear Pitambara Vesha, yellow cloth. So, yes, because actually he always wants to be with Srimati Radharani Gaurangi. He wants to be embraced by her. So therefore he's wearing yellow cloth. But other clothes are there also. So especially at Radhakund, so that is mentioned. Different kunjas are there of the Astasakis, and with different colors. So, and there sometimes Krishna is wearing suitable garments, so matching the different kunjas. In this way, he repeatedly exhibits his manifest and unmanifest pastimes. So the pastimes are there. In the spiritual world, Nitya Lila. Ashtakali Lila. Aprakat Lila. It is not manifest to our senses. So, so he's there in the spiritual world, and at the same time is manifested here also in this world. Prakat Lila, Prakat Lila, and Prakat Lila. So when the material world is manifested, then the Lord is manifested here also. So it's simultaneously in the spiritual world that I manifest here. And the spiritual world is always in Kishoravasta, 15 years old. But in the Prakat Lila, so he appears in a baby form, and then he's growing. So And in this world, so Krishna is there in Braj for 15 years and then he's going to Mathura, stays there for 20 years or so, and then he's going to Dwarka. And the spiritual world, Krishna is always residing in Golok and in Mathura and in Dwarka. Simultaneously is there in 3 places. So whereas in this world, in Prakat Leela, so Krishna is manifested in Braj, and then after his Aprakatan is manifested in Mathura. And then is manifested in Dwarka. In addition, in the Chandogya Upanishad it is stated, Shamach Chavalam Prapadye, Shabalach Chamam Prapadye, is a famous verse. By rendering service to Krishna, one attains his transcendental abode, which is full of spiritual bliss and astonishing variegated leelas, and we think that Chit Jagat one attains the eternal shelter of Krishna. So Krishna is always in the spiritual world, is always transcendental to this material existence, even when he appears here. He's completely transcendental. So this Sonora mantras describe the activities of the liberated and perfected jivas even after this stage of mukti. We read in Srimad Bhagavatam, Etecham Sakalapam Sam Krishna Stu Bhagavan Sayam. Indriyari? Ramanishing and Yoravatas are all portions, Amsha or plenary portions, Kala of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See Bhagavan. But Sri Krishna is that original Bhagavan himself. In the Gita Upanishad, Sri Krishna himself says, Mata parataram natyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. So Gita Upanishad, so that means Bhagavad Gita. O Arjuna, there is nothing superior to me. And it is also said in the Gopal Tapani Upanishad, Eko vasi sarvaga Krishna idya, Eko pisan bahudo yova bhati. See, Krishna is the all-pervasive, non-dual Parabrahma who controls everything. He is the only worshipable object for all the devatas, for mankind, for all other life forms. Although he is one, through his Achinta Shakti, he manifests many forms and performs many varieties of leelas. But how can Sri Krishna be all-pervading if he has a medium-sized, human-like form? If we accept that he has form, it means he can only stay in one place at a time. And that gives rise to so many philosophical discrepancies. The first is that he cannot be the all-pervading tattva if he has a form and body. Secondly, if he has a body, he will be limited by the material modes of nature. So how can he be independent and have limitless and absolute authority? How can this be reconciled? Babaji, my dear son, you are not thinking like this because you are bound by the qualities of Maya. As long as the intelligence remains bound by material qualities, it cannot touch Shuddha Sattva. So, in the conditioned life, identification is there with the body. One is attached to the body. So therefore, under the modes of material nature, of course, then the different modes are there under the. So there's sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Sattvic or tamasic or rajasic ego, sattvic, rajasic or tamasic intelligence and mind and then senses. So by engaging in spiritual activities, by chanting the holy names, so the embodied being, he can become free from the modes of material nature gradually, and then he can be transcendently situated. So that is Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness. So, but if one is on the modes of material nature, one cannot be in Shuddha Sattva. But, so therefore we should try to be in the mode of goodness. Sattva gun, then one can become transcendental. If such conditioned intelligence attempts to exceed its own limitation, trying to understand Shuddha Sattva, it superimposes Maya forms and qualities on Shuddha Sattva, and thus conceives of a material form of transcendence. At the same time, the intellect rejects this form as being temporary, mutable, and subject to the material modes, and then it imagines the Nirvishesh Brahma. That is why one cannot gain an understanding of the supreme absolute truth through the intelligence. So we hear from the devotees, of course we read the scriptures, and then slowly but surely then one will be able to understand properly by the mercy of the Lord. Sadhubuddhi. With material intelligence one cannot understand the transcendental realm completely. So, but something we can understand with one's intelligence, especially if it is in Sattva gun, Sattvic. So there also, so that is Sattvic intelligence, Rajasic intelligence, and Tamasic intelligence. The Sattvic mind, Sattvic ego, Rajasic ego, and Tamasic ego. Sattvic mind, Rajasic mind, or Tamasic mind. So then accordingly also then the body will be there. For us, tamasic consciousness means ego or intelligence or mind, then the body will also be tamasic. Similarly, if one has rajasic consciousness, then his body will be rajasic. So we should be sattvic. And then from Sattva Guna one can come to more easily to Shuddha Sattva, to the transcendental plane. So one has to try to get some knowledge by reading, by hearing from the devotees. But then one has to engage in devotional service also. Then we can understand the subject matter, this transcendental subject matter. So Gyan, acquiring knowledge is important. And then Vairagya, trying to be detached from this world. So, but then Bhakti is required in order to progress nicely, in order to attain perfection. And then, we will get, as explained before, Tesham Satariyuttanam Bhajatam Puripurvakam Tadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yenamam Puriyantite. Those who are constantly engaged, to them I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Tadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. I am giving Buddhi. So Krishna is giving me intelligence. So that is transcendental intelligence. One question? क्या चल रहा है?
So, when from being in Sattva Sattva is very difficult.
To be in Shuddha Sattva.
Yes.
Yes.
So first we have to be in Sattva.
Yeah, first you have to be in Sattva Guna. And then you can come to the transcendental plane. For instance, Rajagun and Tamagun, it will be difficult.
Sometimes if someone is remaining in Sattva Guna, he become fallen.
You become fallen?
From his Guna.
Yeah, of course. You can. Sometimes one may be in Sattva Guna and then again he's in Rajagun and Tamagun.
So
Every night you're sleeping,
Okay.
then you're in Tamagun, right?
Okay. So
The consciousness then is in Tamagun. And then one will get up and then one will take bath, put on fresh clothes, and then in this way one can be in Sattva Guna. Of course, if one is very much situated in Sattva Guna, then even while he's lying down, so the consciousness is still there, situated in Sattva Guna. But then when one is sleeping, of course, then one is not in control of oneself.
So Gurudev, how can we understand that we are in Shuddha Sattva?
So when you're in Shuddha Sattva and pure goodness, you will understand your position as eternal son of Krishna. And then you will be completely engaged in spiritual activities. So, and then the loving exchange will be there with Krishna. And then you can feel. And then you can see that you are not affected by this material world. So, but the point is that actually sometimes you can be a little bit in sattva gun, but as a sadhaka usually in the beginning stage mostly, so one is on the modes of material nature, but then one is trying to come to the spiritual platform. And one can be for some time, but to be constantly in sattva gun, that means you're liberated. So we have to know the modes of material nature, and we have to try to be in sattva gun, and then we can try to transcend the modes of material nature. So constant practice is required. So paddhati is there, the process. So being in the association with the devotees, engaging in devotional activities, then you will understand when you're in sattva gun. Then you will see yourself as separate from this body. So sadhaka, I'm Krishna Das or Gopal Das. So that is Sadak Sharir. But then by engaging in devotional service, you come to the spiritual platform. That is then Siddha Sharir. Then you can see yourself. And you can see yourself as different from this body, from this material existence. You see yourself as spirit soul. So then you have to try to be fully engaged. So Shuddha Sattva means being properly situated, and then automatically one will be engaged in always glorifying Krishna, hearing about Krishna, remembering Krishna, serving Krishna. So by practice, then you can realize. So simply reading or hearing, that is not sufficient, but one has to practice, one has to serve. And then under proper guidance, then we can advance, and then we can have practical realization of ourselves and the Lord. So then it is a pure devotional service. So practice makes perfect. And you have to be enthusiastic, you have to be fixed, and you have to be patient. Always engaging in spiritual activities, avoiding unwanted association, and try to be together with devotees. So then it is easier in the assembly of devotees. Alone it is more difficult. But then also we have to, of course, take care of ourselves. And as the saying goes, everyone has to fly his own plane. And during war, then the airplanes are there. So in the armies, so airplane, so fighter jet or whatever. So there's only one person sitting there in the plane. sometimes two. So, and then when they are attacking, just now war is there also in some places. Russia and Ukraine, and so then they are attacking with the planes, 10 or 15 or whatever. But then, so 15 planes are there, means 15 pilots are there. So you have to fly your own planes. But if you are together with other planes, then it is a little easier. And then, so some kind of protection, you can say. So we have to do our sadhana, but and on this way we are on our own, but then we need the help of the others. And we need the mercy of the Lord to help us, guide us. Okay. Anything else?
All Vishnu Tattvas. Lord Ramchandra Narasimha came from which Vishnu? Shraddha Vishnu? Or
It
Mahavishnu?
is not as explained by Prabhupada also. And that in each universe actually, so Mahavishnu, from Mahavishnu all the universes are coming. In each universe there's one Garbhadaksha Vishnu. And there's a Kshirodaksha Vishnu. There's the super soul in everyone's heart. So the incarnations are coming from Kshirodaksha Vishnu. So that is explained by Prabhupada also. And because in each universe there's a need of the different incarnations. So they're coming from Vishnu. So of course then in the spiritual realm the Vishnu Murtis are there. And they also are named in this way. Narahari or Varaha and so on. But these are actually Chaturbuj Roop. So, but from this you can see the origin. So they may be seen as the origin of Nishingadev, half man, half lion. But then so Mahashankar from Mahashankar Mahavishnu is coming, and then Garbhadaksha Vishnu and Kshirodaksha Vishnu. And from Kshirodaksha Vishnu the different avatars are there. Rama, Nrsimha and so on. Of course Ramachandra is a special personality also. So there in Ayodhya there's a little more Madhurya than in Aishwarya, than in Vaikuntha, which is full of Aishwarya. So these are known as pastimes incarnations, the Dasavatar. So to attract some devotees to purify the heart of the devotees. So, by hearing about the avatars also, specifically the Dasavatars, so the purification will be there, some purification. And they're controlling the planets, Navagraha. They're the lords of the Navagraha. Jai Nitai Gaur Vadisha. Jai Krishna Balaram. Hare Krishna.